Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. So, President Joe Biden is about to make an announcement that he is going to forgive student loans for anyone who may have taken out a loan for $10,000 or even more. Okay, so that sounds like good news for people who's in debt. Let's be realistic. Who's in terrible debt. That sounds like good news. But the problem is, who's going to pay for this? Now, before anyone starts saying, okay, that's the same talking point that you conservatives are always talking about. What I want to do, I want to read some points that the writer of this particular article in Breitbart said that has some valid points, because it seems evident to me that this person is more versed in what the reverberating effects of what Biden is about to propose. See, people don't look at stuff like that. They just look at, oh, I'm in dire hurts. I'm hurting right now. I'm hungry. I'm this. I'm that. Help me, bail me out. But they don't look at the future. And then when the future hits them, then they want to ask for more bailouts. But you didn't think about that when you was asking for the bailout 10 years ago. So let's get into this article. Let's see what he has to say. And the article says, President Joe Biden is set to announce student loan forgiveness of $10,000 and perhaps more for lower income debtors on Wednesday, in a move that is unconstitutional, unfair, and dangerous for the stability of our economy and our democracy. As I said, the editor makes a valid point there, but listen to the argument of this writer. Listen to the argument of this writer, of this article. There is no doubt that some borrowers would benefit from student loan relief, especially young people, low earners, and borrowers in the Black community. It would help them avoid default and perhaps allow some to enter the housing market. So he's right about that. If you have student loan debt like I do, okay, and I think it's more than $10,000, then something like this would be a relief. But see, back in the days, back in like the early 2000s and so forth, I was not politically aware of anything. I didn't understand about, well, if you do these things now, it's going to hurt us in the future. Woo, woo, woo. I wasn't thinking about that. All I was thinking about, give me this student loan, give me these grants. Cool, that's it. That's what I need because I don't have no money. That's what I was thinking about. But now I'm starting to think a little bit different about this whole thing. So let's go on. I know more now. I'm more aware. The writer says some of these debtors can truly be seen as victims of a system that urges young people to attend college when other paths might be better suited to their talents and interests. I agree. Because you're being told, go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. And listen to what he has to say here. That jacks up federally subsidized tuition costs and that steers students towards highly ideological majors that provide few marketable skills, but train them as future left-wing voters and activists. Absolutely. Everybody that's been watching the mainstream news, anyone who has done any studying on how many of the colleges and universities are all over this country, they're so far left that it's no longer about teaching you what you need to know about your particular craft so that you can be marketable. It's about teaching you how to be a leftist activist. And if you're conservative, you better be hush about it. You better keep your mouth closed. Shh, don't say anything. And that really is hurting a lot of these colleges and universities, or rather hurting the students. But at the same time, you charge me tons of money. Tons of money to do what? To learn how to be a leftist activist? Terrible. So I agree with the writer here. So the writer goes on to say, however, most borrowers took out student loans quite voluntarily, and there are several strong arguments against relief. And this is his arguments. He says, number one, fairness. Rewarding those who are not paying their loans is unfair to people who have worked hard and sacrificed to pay off their student loan debt. I agree to some extent on that. I agree to people who have worked hard, but then circumstances may validate that. If my circumstances were different, other people's circumstances were different. For one, I was unaware of any of this. I had intentions of paying my student loan off, but a lot of things happened. a loss of job, a loss of hours. It was just crazy. Okay. And I don't have time to go into all of that. That's another video all by itself. But suffices to say, my situation and maybe millions of others is different. So I understand the concept of it being unfair to people who have worked hard and sacrificed to pay off their student loan, but everybody's circumstances are different. But let's read further. It is also unfair to pay for people to it is also unfair to people who made the choice not to attend college, often because of the prospect of debt, who must now pay as taxpayers to subsidize other student loans, even though they may have their own debts, such as mortgages and car payments. Moreover, despite income caps, wealthier borrowers will find ways to benefit. And I agree with that. You know, it's not fair to people who choose not to go to college. You know, they may have certain gifts and talents that they've capitalized on through personal study and so forth, and they're doing well. But now they have to pay for the student loans, you know what I mean, to student loans through their taxes now. They're going to be taxed to gazoo, which means they're going to bring home less money because the government has to pay off them student loans. So I agree with that. That's not fair. Many people that do these, they don't look at stuff like this. They're just looking at the here and now. Help me now, bail me out now. That's all I need. I need relief. But as it until future, when the future comes around, you get to the future, if you will, it isn't then until you start saying, oh man, I made a bad error. People don't like to delay. People don't like to see. People want pleasure right now. They want everything right now. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. Give it to me now. They don't want to delay pleasure. They don't want to be disciplined. They rather have everything now because I believe we have been conditioned to want everything now. Our society today is conditioned to want everything now. Young people today are conditioned to want everything now. And that's a sad, sad prospect. But let's go on. Number 2, inflation. Giving out $10,000 in loan relief to millions of American borrowers, plus continuing a pause in student loan repayments for others, will increase the amount of money available to consumers in the economy, creating more inflationary pressures and undoing whatever good the recent so-called, quote, Inflation Reduction Act might have hoped to achieve. The rest of society will pay higher prices for goods and services, hence subsidize student loan borrowers indirectly through inflation. And this is the thing that that these liberal politicians and Democrats don't, either they don't look at it or they just don't care. They want to destroy the economy so that they can create a communist country. Either that or they're just ignorant. They don't understand the economy. Money doesn't come out of nowhere. Somebody has to pay for this stuff. And you tell the average person that they're not, like I said earlier, the average person that's struggling financially, they want something like this. They want to be bailed out because they're struggling. And I understand that. I get it. You know, they want to be bailed out, but they don't have a bigger picture mentality because they've been kept ignorant of this. The school systems don't teach them this, or for the most part, they don't take the initiative to dig deeper to see what's going on because they've been programmed, or rather conditioned, not to dig deeper. They've been conditioned to think that way. But most people don't understand money, the way you spend, but when you spend money, or you say, okay, I'm going to take this money and spend it here, something else has to pay for it. You know, you got to take money from here to put here. That's how the economy works. And these Democrats don't seem to these Democratic politicians don't seem to understand that. Either they don't understand that or they simply don't care. They want to deliberately destroy the country and create this socialist / communist country. One of the two. So, number 3, moral hazard. Bailouts create the expectation of more bailouts in the future, distorting the incentives of future borrowers and removing the awareness of risk that theoretically guides rational decisions in the marketplace. Once the credibility of the student loan market and other capital markets is eroded enough, people begin to lose faith in economic institutions and to abandon traditional habits and hard work that are necessary for any free market economy to survive and to grow. I agree with that. Bailouts creates the expectation of more bailouts in the future, distorting the incentives of future borrowers and removing the awareness of risk that theoretically guides rational decisions in the marketplace. True. You know, people, when you keep doing these bailouts, people are going to expect more of it. but they fail to understand it distorts incentives of future borrowers. It distorts people that want to borrow in the future. It distorts their desire to do so. Why borrow? Why borrow, man? This is what's going to happen. It's going to put us in debt. It's going to mess me up. It's going to mess it. It distorts everything. Okay, so I agree with that concept. Number 4, no academic reform. There is nothing in Biden's impending proposal that will reform the way colleges and universities charge for higher education. Currently, many institutions are providing substandard degrees. Now, this is what I like. Currently, many institutions are providing substandard degrees while suppressing all but the most left-wing opinions. I agree with his assessment here. He says, professors in some disciplines are little more than tenured political activists. I agree. Training foot soldiers for radical causes. Universities bear none of the costs of student failures to repay their loans, so they will continue as before. I agree. And I said this earlier, this is a sad, sad case. I'm just going to stop at number 4 right there. You can read the rest of it on your own free time. I'm going to leave a link to the article in the description box below. But I agree with that. These college professors and so forth, they're not really helping the students by teaching this kind of stuff. Most of these college professors are tenured political activists. I agree. And even economist Thomas Sowell said the same thing in one of his books. I can't remember which one, but he said the same thing in one of his books, that when he was coming up back in the 1960s, when he was a professor trying to find his way, it was hard to find his way because he really wanted to teach the students. But a lot of the universities that he was attending had become so left-leaning that it was extremely hard to do so. It was extremely hard to do so. Here he was trying to stress actual academic processes and actual learning, and the professors that he was around was patting people on the hand, feeling sorry for the students and giving them incentives and different things like, well, you'll get a B if you just show up for class. Why would you get a B for just showing up for class? Or why would you get a B for just turning in a paper, in a sheet of paper? You did the work, so I'm gonna give you a B. Is the answers correct? Did you do the work right? Did you get the right answer? No, I just showed up to class and I did the work. Here you go. You get a B. This is the type of stuff that Thomas Sowell was seeing in the 1960s and 70s. Because many of the professors had allowed the communist, socialist, leftist, radical, Marxist ideologies and concepts infect them. And they were scared that it was going to be protested against. So they started leaning towards that direction. And it messed up many of the colleges and universities all over the country. So now you have students that go to these schools and these colleges and they don't learn anything. I can guarantee you, I know significantly more about history and other things than many of these so-called college students know with a bachelor's degree. I bet you I'd run circles around them. And I know that to be true because I listen to a lot of them the way they talk. They got bachelor's degrees and supposedly master's degrees and look and sound like idiots. I have seen and heard it, man. I'm like, this person got a bachelor's degree in what? Ignorance? Stupidity? Are you serious? What bachelor's degree did you get? Was it in math? Is it in history? What is it? What did you focus on? And it's a shame. And I just wanted to say that I agree with many of the points that this writer of this article was saying. But on the other hand, I understand that for people who are in debt, particularly many students who are in debt, they are welcoming of this. But it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22, man. We damned if we do and we damned if we don't. I wonder how this is going to pan out. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all and see you again.